Hi everyone, welcome back to the channel. In today's video, I'm going to show you how you can actually check if the logged in person into your Power Apps belongs to one specific group or not. And if that person doesn't, then it should be redirected to a no access screen. So I'll take an example which I have done into my last videos. I have one financial detail list which is having like a lot many items, and in my example in the last time I have shown you how you can search the SharePoint list or the SharePoint data without giving or without having delegation warnings via PowerAutomate way. So I'll just use this example only, but the concept which I'm going to tell you today is of that how you can actually verify that a person belongs to a SharePoint group. No, I'm not talking about Office group, a SharePoint group. If that person belongs to one SharePoint group, then only this search financial screen should be available for him or her. Otherwise, that no access screen, which is just a label, should be shown. So basically, we are going to work with the start screen of my app, and with the formula which we are going to check like whether a person belongs to a SharePoint group. Then if yes, then the start screen would be search one, otherwise it's no access one. And because lately some changes has happened on AppStart functions or behavior properties of apps, so this is critical one. So how you can actually do on the AppStart itself to check whether a person belongs to SharePoint group or not. So I'll just go to my SharePoint site and will go to my site permissions so that I can pick that group. So it's a financial group which I've created. So this group is, if a member is if a person is a member of this group, then only that person should be allowed to see the search financial data. Otherwise it should be no access. So this is a very generic requirement. You may want to have that many times in place, but right now the focus is like it has to be started, it has to be checked on AppStart itself. The redirection should happen based on that selection, that group membership, whether a person is a group member or not. Right. So I'm here into my AppStart. Over here you can see, if you open this property pane, you would see like we have OnStart and StartScreen. So over here we are going to write some logic so that we are able to check like whether SharePoint or whether a person group belongs to SharePoint or not. So as you might already know that if I add my data source and if I try to find out the data source from SharePoint, then I would able to connect it over here, but there is no direct way of like checking a person belongs to a SharePoint group or not. But yeah, of course, like if with the Azure AD connector, so you can see like I've added Azure AD connector, we have mechanism to check the Azure AD groups, whether a person belongs to Azure AD group or not. So that it can be done just with a simple formula where if a person use the dot email equal to Azure AD dot get group membership, if that formula like lies true, then you would be navigating on the right screen. But for SharePoint, it's not the straightforward way. For that, I am going to add one of the I would say like flow, like which is check membership flow. So we can create this flow entirely. So let me add a new flow actually, so that we can together create it. So I'll just pick the blank, create from blank. And we'll change the connector. I'll just delete it so that we can capture the input. So I'll just say PowerApps trigger version 2, add input. Input we are going to take text. So this would be the email address which we are going to pass to this flow. And in the next step, I'll just initialize just one variable, membership. Let's say variable is member, and I'll just say boolean. And in next step, I am going to send a request to SharePoint. So send HTTP request to SharePoint, and over here we are going to connect to our site. Method would be get, and in the URI I'll just pick that from my notepad because I need to type in. So it's API website groups get by name. So this is my finance group name, which is a SharePoint group. And over here, we are going to check, like we are going to filter that by email and then check for this filtering condition. So I'll just paste it. And in this email equal to, I'll just put the input which we are getting from our previous tab. And once we have this output of this send HTTP, so we can just capture that into, let's say, compose, because we need to actually do some operation so that we can extract the output in a comparable way. So in the output, you can see I can select body, but I need to have the body.d.result. So I'll have to place this. If you look at it over here, I need to get this formula. So I can just paste this body, this send HTTP action d.result, because in result I would be getting the actual membership result for this call which we are making in previous tab. So over here we are getting this results, and in results we have to check like whether this result which we are getting is equal to blank. So this square brackets means like we are not getting any results. That means like we don't have any members to that group. All right, so I will just actually use one condition over here which can help me to check whether my output of previous tab is blank or not. So in this one, I'm going to paste this expression which is of comparing, which is actually first of all converting the output of my previous tab into string and then comparing this string to this. So that means blank, that means it's not a member. So I'm just saying okay. So if that is true, then I have to set my variable from the previous tab to true. So I'll just say that variable, and over here I'm just his variable, I'm setting that value as true. And okay, so if it's blank, I have to set that as false, and reason is that the person is not a member. And I'll just copy the same and paste in the other branch, but I will say as true. If it's not blank, that means we are getting something. Just expanding it and setting that as true. So now we have set up this, and now the final step, we have to return this variable value to our PowerApps. So I'll just say respond to PowerApp, respond to PowerApp, and over here I'll just add one output of this member, and the value would be is going as text. So let me actually delete this one and add a boolean value. Let me first add another output, yes or no you can take, otherwise you can simply take. So let's leave that, let's just have that as a text value only. I'll just say where is member, so it will give me a true text value, not a boolean one. So it's fine, we can manage. And once this is done, I can just give it a name, check finance group membership, and we'll just say save. So this is a part where in flow we are checking that currently passed user email address belongs to that SharePoint group or not. So this will help us. But how to check later on into our AutStart screen, like whether this person or this variable which we are getting as output of our PowerAutomate is true or not, and then how to navigate. So that's a tricky part, because there comes the picture of like behavior and non-behavior functions and what is being allowed into start screen. So let's check that. So first of all, I'll just go to my app start, and in the app start I'll just pick the OnStart. So OnStart, I have to actually trigger my flow. Otherwise, for example, let me just go to the start screen, and if I try to just find out my this PowerAutomate of check membership, and if I say dot run and passing the parameter as user dot email, So over here, if I hover on it, you can see behavior function and non-behavior property. You cannot use this to set property changes. So that means like it is expecting a non-behavior property, and this function call cannot be made from start screen. So intent was like, for example, like straightforward. If this is returning me true, this output is member. For example, if it's true, then the simple formula could be navigate to screen, and the other, if not, then I could have just navigated, give me the formula, navigate axis. So the intent is just to have this simple formula, and based on this formula return value, I should able to decide that whether to navigate to my search screen or to no access screen. But because there's a non-behavior property, so we cannot have our PowerAutomate calling into this start screen. Otherwise it could be very much simpler. So what's the workaround for that? So workaround, I have to remove this entire stuff and take this to my OnStart. So I have to go to the OnStart, and in this OnStart I will actually not checking or navigating anything, because OnStart doesn't allow us to navigate. If I just remove everything and if I just click on this, you can see navigate is not permitted on start. So what we are going to do over here? So we are going to actually set one variable which actually can read the output of my PowerAutomate, and that variable in turn we are going to use to check whether we have true or false, then navigate to the right screen. I'm just opening my notepad just to show you like what I'm going to write. So basically I'm going to do is this operation, setting one variable, and then after that I will explain you why I'm doing it. So if this member is true, then set navigate target. So this is again variable target, a variable which we are going to set the screen target, and this I'm going to show you why I'm doing. So let's first of all set the function. So check membership. So I'll just use our PowerAutomate which we created just now. Let me remove, or let me remove the entire one. Check financial run user dot email dot output is member, and I'm just setting this output into my is member variable over here. So now I got my output into this variable, and after that I have to set one target screen as well over here, one variable for target screen. So that which I was saying, like if member equal to true, then set the navigation target to this. So let's use this formula only. If my this member equal to true, so which we are returning a small true in our flow, set the navigation target screen as scr search. So this is just a variable I'm setting, so don't worry about it. And the other one scr no access. Just be cautious with the spelling, so that it, because it's comparing everything. So now we are setting this navigation target into OnStart. So we are getting the output of flow, and based on output of flow we are just setting one variable navigation target. So we are good for now, and now we can actually go to our start screen, and over here if I start capturing or comparing my global variable. So let's try do that. Is member was my global variable. Is member equal to true, then I should navigate to screen search, navigate, otherwise navigate to screen no access. So this will not work, we know that. So over here what it's saying is, okay, global variables are not allowed in screen. Okay, so we are stuck. Why? Because we on start we were setting one variable, and in start screen we were thinking that this expression would be actually very simple to write in, and based on that we can navigate. No, it's not, because whatever global variable or whatever output we are taking from Power Automate, it's not being set, it cannot be used into start screen to decide whether which screen to land. So now what to do? So now we have to actually take help of one loader screen. So I'll just add one more screen over here. So it's a workaround, and I'll just say new screen, and new screen I'll just pick as screen name, let's say loading screen. So on this screen, what we are going to do, we are going to just do a one trick. I'll just add one timer control, and in this timer control I'll just set the duration as 100, because this is into milliseconds, it would be quick. And into this timer, so let me select my timer control, into this timer on time and basically. So what we are going to do, we are going to decide whether we have to like redirect where. So if I just open my notepad, and you would see that into this condition, if navigation target screen is 1, so navigation target screen, you remember, like we set up one variable on start of app navigation target based on our Power Automate output. So these values we are going to actually copy and set it over here, which means navigation target screen is 1, so which is now changed. Screen is search. If it's search, then I will just redirect to my search screen, SCR search. And if the set value is no access screen, then I will going to redirect to my no access screen. So it's basically when timer ends. So timer we set for 100 milliseconds. So as soon as it ends, it will just check for this global variable and do the navigation for us. So we are taking off help of one additional screen. And also like because we want to just hide it and show something, if it's visible to user, then let's just add one spinner, actually spinner control, so that will look a bit like nice that something is being going on, and it will cover up that timer control as well. So, and the timer control I'll select again, so because don't forget to set the auto start as true. By default is always false. So these are critical. So if we are setting this auto start, then only it will expire after 100 milliseconds, and it will do the redirection based on the navigation variable which we are setting earlier. All right. So now this loading screen would be actually start screen of R. So I'll just simply say loading screen. So now this app would be having this loading screen as start, and it will first of all calculate this on start, set these variables, and then go to the loading screen. Once the timer is completes or on timer end, it will check like whether which screen should be redirected. So this piece is a workaround. So let's save everything and then just try to do a test run. And because we have written this on app start, so I have to just run on app start. And as soon as we run it, we can actually go to our Power Automate to check whether our flow kicked off properly or not. So the first part which we created was this check finance group membership, and we will check like whether we are not having any issues. So it ran successfully. So right now I am just checking via this way, but in my next video I am going to show you how to use monitoring tool. So rather than actually going to the flow then checking whether it ran or not, in one shot you will able to debug and troubleshoot everything into one place. So that would be the video of my that would be the topic of my next video, so just stay tuned for that. So it ran. Let's go inside what it returned. So let's quickly check. So it returned true as in capital. So let's check our formula whether we used the capital. Okay, so we used as true small. So let's refresh our formula, save it, and then rerun it. I'll just again say run on start. So it calculated, or it actually given the output to our Power App back. And now we can just simply run it to check. So you just saw that for a milliseconds we got that loading screen which we added. So you can actually load the time, increase the timer duration so that you can actually see it. Let me go to the timer duration. I'll just make that as 2002 seconds. At least we will see that loading screen for 2 seconds, then the redirection would happen. So let's do that. Let's run that again. Now it's loading and I will see a redirection based on my access. So I was part of this group, that's why I was seeing it. If I just remove myself and then I will go to my this Power App, then do a fresh run again. So you remember we have to do a app start run so that it can trigger my flow. Of course, like once this application is triggered, I mean the published, then we need not to like run it explicitly. So right now we are just testing it. So that's why I'm running it on start. If I run it again and not here, so let's do that run fresh. I'll just publish my app so that we should not be confused at what we are seeing based on the group. So I'm just republishing it and then going to my apps, then running my app from here. Let's play it. So it's saying loading and we are opening our app, the loading screen, and then after timer ends it decided which screen to throw, so it's no access. And if I again re-add myself over here in this group, and then when we close this instance and then do a new instance to run it from published app, it's opening, it's loading, and now I have the access because I'm a part of this people in group. So this search screen is this one, and when I do a search it should show me the result. So that's how actually you can do a check into whether a user is part of SharePoint group or not. And I know like a couple of workarounds which I've showed you how you can actually decide. So we took a help of one loading screen because we are doing that on AppStart, and because of changes into the AppStart, Microsoft wanted to have AppStart to be used minimally to do any of the intensive operations. So that's why this start screen, they have separated the start screen from AppStart, where in the start screen we can just decide whatever screen you want to actually load initially, and then based on the global variable set of which screen you want to redirect, you are redirecting to that particular screen. So that's how you can do it. So this was the intent of today's video, and if you like this workaround, then please do subscribe, do like, and as well as drop your comment if you have any questions. So that is for today. And as I said, like in the next video, I would be actually making a monitoring and troubleshooting session for this app itself, because right now for checking our this flow ran or successfully or not, we are just going back and forth into PowerAutomate. But going forward, we'll be just taking like everything into one shot. So that's it. Thank you.